inkproducts.com has now released its new CIS auto refill ink system for the new Epson's XP-520, 620, and 860. Now this is our new Executive Series 3, has our exclusive double loop hose bracket, eliminates the use of backflow dampers. When you first get the CIS system, first thing you're going to do, take out the packing, and then let it rock over like this. You're going to be taking all the ink that may have gotten into the isobaric chamber in shipping. Take your time. Just rock it forward, stand it up. Rock it forward, stand it up. You're going to get all the parts and pieces. You're going to even get refill syringes to refill ink. Tank back up. I'm going to show you that later in the video. Now some of the syringes are going to say discard after use. Don't do that. Don't even wash them out. You're going to get one for each color. Don't wash them out because you damage the plungers in the syringes. Okay, now I've got the printer on. I'm going to open up the lid. Now these are our refillable cartridges. So now we want to bring the cartridges over so we can install the CIS cartridges. Okay, now I want to arrow over to setup. Okay, let's look at the ink levels. They look full because those are the refillables. Now I'm going to go where it says replace cartridges, and then the cartridges are going to move over. Okay. Oops. Click on that button. There you go. Say OK. Replacing cartridges. Push to start. The cartridges are going to move over. Then we're going to take them out and install the CIS system. Now I haven't unplugged the machine. I haven't turned anything off. I'm going to show you this way because it might be then you'll get less error codes when you first start up. So now I'm going to go. I'm going to take these cartridges out. Now, if you have refillables, make sure you save those orange clips. You can use the orange clips if there are cartridges off the CIS cartridges. But for now, I'm going to take them out and put them in the orange clips. Now, when we build them, after we get done priming them and everything, we wrap them in plastic like this. That holds the orange clips on, and there's less chance for ink to leak or if the orange clip gets knocked off. Plus, we have a way we put this tape on here, so when you go to take the orange clip off and the rubber bands, it's going to come off in one shot. Now, we might want to put a paper towel here, so in case any ink leaks a little bit, we don't want that to happen. Okay, all the plugs need to be closed. Then, you're going to roll this to shut off the ink. That's so when we take the orange clips off, ink doesn't leak well out. When it's in, we want to open that up. Don't ever leave that closed when you're printing. You'll starve the print head. Then I'm going to point this out. On the bottom of the cartridge, we have these little black squares. They block that sensor from seeing through the bottom of the cartridge, causing it to fail. In other words, if the printer thinks that cartridge is low or out of ink, it'll shut it right down. But we put the black tape on there because we don't have to worry. We have plenty of ink. That's to protect the chips on the cartridges. These new COC chips are the XL chips, so you don't have to reset as often. Now I'll take the plastic off. I have the wrap off. Now I did not unplug it, but for safety, sometimes it's best unplugged. I'm not unplugging it, but you may want to do that. So now I'm going to unsnap these clips. See, the rubber bands are going to help them come off. Take your time. That's why I put paper towel underneath it. It's a simple way to do it. There. See what I'm saying? Some ink might get all over, so that's the way you take it off. Now sometimes the little ink will be around the exit port. You want to blot it with a paper towel carefully. And that would be normal because it expands when it's shipped or whatever. But I took all the clips off, so I'm going to turn and put them all in one group. Now, if you get a little ink on a chip or something, just take your time here. wipe it off. See any ink? Just wipe it off. Now I'm wearing a pair of rubber gloves. I suggest that you do that. Now this way I can take them, hold them in one hand, flip them, and get them ready to go in. Just take your time. And again, I have not unplugged or shut the printer off. Sometimes you may want to do that. That might make you feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm taking my time here, and I noticed the printer hasn't taken off. Caused any problems. And I lock them down. Now I'm expecting to get an error code. No two ways about it. Okay. Now I'll save these orange clips, the rubber bands, should I ever have to put them back on. You wouldn't have to put the rubber bands back on, but you surely should put those orange clips back on. Rubber bands we only put on for shipping. Alright, now I'm going to open up the ink, go over here, and remove the plugs from the isobaric chambers, because we already rocked it, so just take your time. Now this is the only time you could get a little ink on your fingers taking these out. Okay, now we can close it up, and we're going to put the ink tank next to the printer. Now we do supply a safety catch you might want to put on. What that does is, we have a video to show you how to put them on. It goes right next to the printer, and just so you can't knock it over, or the kids can't pick it up or whatever. But normally it would go just like this. Just like that. Then you're going to have your hose bracket, which goes in the center, like that. Put a little bit of that hose in like that, just to see if I get hose travel out of it. So I've got everything in. Now I can hit the start. I made sure my clip was open, bottles are closed, and I'm just doing a hose travel test right now. So there you go. That's it. Let's close the top while we're doing that. Now the top's going to remain open about 1 inch. And you don't have to worry about dust or any of that. And it's going to take a minute to recognize. Say OK to proceed. Now you're going to get, we have not installed genuine Epson cartridges. That is correct. They are not genuine, and we're not going to report that they are, because we don't want to be sued by Epson. So you're just going to say, okay, okay, okay. This is a little nonsense that Epson puts in there. Okay. Do you want to use them? Of course, yes. If you say anything other than that, then you're going to have problems. Okay, now I'm back to maintenance, ink level and maintenance. I want to go down to maintenance. Now, I always run one head cleaning. Okay. The reason why I do that is I'm going to prime up the system. Then I'll do a nozzle check. The nozzle check I did before I took out the refillable cartridges. That's the refillable cartridges. Everything was perfect. So you always want to do that before you install the CIS. You want to make sure you got a good nozzle, because if you have a lot of broken lines, well then don't install the system, because that's not going to fix the problem. You first fix the problem, then you can install the CIS. I want to point this out. We have special CIS cartridges, auto refill cartridges, plus we use a COC XL chip. Now by having that little area there removed, keeps the chips cool, so you don't have to worry about them overheating. That happens a lot if you're using ARC chips. So it's very simple. Just close the lid. It's going to remain open about 1 inch. That's to give the hose travel here. Now sometimes you can put the hose along the edge here. If you want to do it that way, you can, but we find that the hose rubs and then in that hose. So that's why we use this little bracket. Very simple. Shouldn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes to install our auto refill system. Okay, now I'm done. Now I'm going to go to print out the nozzle. Now remember, run the nozzle check before you install a system and after you install a system. Coming out right now. I think you can see this. It looks awesome. Looks good. That's it. Now you can close the lid. Okay. Go back to home. Now because I'm going to run some test prints, I made this little chart up. I'm going to go to print it. And I've got to pick what printer I'm going to use. This is going to be 620, Epson 620. You might want to move up a little bit. Got a lot of test printers in here. So let's find 620. Oh, there it is. Missed it. Hold on. 620. There it is. 620 series. Okay. Now I always point this out. I go to properties. I always set it on plain paper. Standard, I really don't like it. I always pick high. I find that it keeps the print head cooler, but it just keeps a lot of ink in the print head, so that print head cavity doesn't go empty. And actually, I find you use less ink because you do less cleaning. Say okay, and now we'll go over to the printer and watch it print out. Now, there's another thing I'm going to point out here, that it's going to pop up, and it's going to say you're not using genuine Epson. That is correct. So you just hit continue. And Epson built that in, and there's no way getting around it. And unfortunately, you just have to watch, and when it pops up, you hit continue. Now I want to point this out, because you might have caught it in the video. But I was so busy talking, I mixed up my colors. So that's why my colors are coming out like this. Now, I could have cut the video and said, you know, and just fixed it. But I want you to see things like this can happen. So if it happens to you, look in there and say, oh yeah, I made a mistake. Well, that's why I'm showing this. I made a mistake. So no harm done. I'm going to take them up. I'm going to put them in the correct order. We'll go back and start printing out this test sheet. But I just thought you'd like to see this. And if you watched when I put it in, I wasn't paying attention. And that can happen to anybody. Okay, now I fixed a mistake I made with the cartridges, putting them in the wrong color in the wrong slot. I did one cleaning. Now I'm printing out that test pattern. Now I always set my printers with the Epsons to print plain paper, but I always pick the best or high quality. I find I have to do less cleaning, and it comes out. Now, there it is. Now we're doing it right. There's the yellow correctly. So I had originally in the video put the cartridges in the wrong slot. So it was easy enough to correct. There was no damage done. So if that happens to you, don't worry. Just fix it, do a cleaning or two, and then it'll come back and it'll be ready to print. That's how simple it was to install our CIS auto refill system. Okay, now I've got the error message that cannot recognize the following cartridges or cartridge. It's yellow, so it says to press OK. Please wait. I'm going to show you how to reset that back again. Takes a second. While it's doing that, I'm going to open the lid up so you can see what's going to happen. It says replace the cartridges. So it's moved over when I said OK. I'm going to unclick it. lift it up slightly, push it back down, come back and press start. Go back and forth. Then it's going to report that it's a non-Epson cartridge. Press OK. There it is. Not installed, genuine Epson. Just OK, OK, OK. Can't get around this. They built this right into the printer. OK. Always want to say yes. If you say no, it won't use that cartridge. Now it's going to say printing. And you're back printing again. That's how quick it took to reset the color back to full. Now I went over to the printer and you can see the yellow is completely full. The black still has ink. I'm getting low on my magenta and my cyan. So those are the next colors that my Gimme cannot recognize. Now I'll show you how you're going to refill the ink tank. When they get about 1 inch to a ½ inch from the bottom, about 1 inch, about here, you want to fill it up. Now, you can fill them all up at the same time. The very first thing you have to do is plug off the little plugs in the isobaric chamber. You've got to plug that off. And if you're going to do them all, you have to plug them all off. If you don't, if you opened up the front plug to fill, where you're going to fill it, the supply chamber will go into the isobaric chamber. Then you got to rock the bottles. So you always plug off the isobaric chamber. You're going to open up the large plug, and then with the syringe, you're going to fill it back up to about, maybe as 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch from the plug. Put the plug back in, that's it. That's how quick it was to fill the bottles up.